The world around us is not a neutral stage for our lives, it is an active participant, whispering instructions to our unconscious mind. This book explores the profound and often invisible ways our environment molds our perceptions, decisions, and capabilities. It argues that we are not purely rational beings operating in a vacuum, but are constantly being nudged, swayed, and transformed by the spaces we inhabit, the colors we see, and the subtle cues embedded in our everyday contexts. Consider the power of a simple color. The particular shade referenced in the title, a specific pale pink, was once used in prison holding cells with a remarkable effect. It was found to temporarily reduce aggressive and violent behavior in inmates, a phenomenon that demonstrates how a visual stimulus can directly dial down physiological arousal. This is not an isolated case. The color of a room, the height of a ceiling, or even the mere shape of the objects on a desk can prime our minds for different kinds of thinking. Warm, red-toned environments can enhance performance on detail-oriented tasks, while blue surroundings foster creative, expansive thought. Our cognitive toolkit is, in part, issued to us by our surroundings. This environmental influence extends far beyond color psychology into the very architecture of our social and physical worlds. The concept of behavioral residue shows how the traces left by others in a space, the arrangement of chairs, the wear on a carpet, the clutter on a shelf, create a script that we unconsciously follow. These cues tell us what is normal, expected, or possible in that setting. A classroom set up in rigid rows dictates a different form of interaction than one with chairs in a circle. The design of a cafeteria can encourage healthy eating or mindless snacking without a single posted rule. We are adept at reading these environmental signals, and they powerfully shape everything from our purchasing habits to our social bonds. Even our sense of self and our physical abilities are not immune to these contextual forces. Research reveals that the symbolic meaning we attach to a place or an object can alter our actual stamina and strength. Wearing a lab coat described as a doctor's garment increases sustained attention, effectively making people smarter in that moment, while wearing the same coat described as a painter's smock does not. The identity is borrowed from the environment. Similarly, being in a room that evokes thoughts of aging can cause people to walk more slowly when they leave. Our minds and bodies are in a continuous, subtle dialogue with our setting, adopting the traits and tempos it suggests. The implications of this are vast, touching on education, business, urban design, and personal well-being. If a simple change in ambience can reduce aggression or boost creativity, then we have a powerful, often overlooked lever for positive change. This perspective encourages us to move beyond seeing design as merely aesthetic and to view it as a fundamental component of human performance and social harmony. It calls for a more intentional crafting of the spaces where we live, work, learn, and heal. Ultimately, the book presents a liberating, if humbling, realization. We are more porous to our world than we might like to believe. Our brilliant, independent consciousness is perpetually fed and formed by a million subtle inputs from our environment. By becoming aware of these hidden channels of influence, we gain the power to resist negative nudges and, more importantly, to design contexts that draw out our better selves. We can create spaces that encourage focus, foster cooperation, promote health, and inspire innovation. Understanding that we are not separate from our surroundings, but in constant conversation with them, is the first step in building a world that helps us think clearly, act kindly, and live well.